Since July 2024, my job has been all about using AI. I've been working with AI daily, integrating it into real-world projects, and automating tasks using large language models. But here's the thing, everything I've done has been in AWS with Amazon Bedrock, which means the company had to pay for it. I was lucky to learn on the job with access to powerful AI models, but what if you're just getting started and don't have a budget for cloud AI services? The good news is, you don't need to pay anything to start learning AI engineering. You can run large language models on your own computer completely free. In this video, I will show you how to install and use Ollama, an open source tool that lets you run AI models locally. We'll set it up, run an AI model, and integrate it into a Python project. Let's get started. The first thing that we'll need to do is install Ollama. If you go to your web browser and go to your search engine, you can type in Ollama, go to where it has ollama.com, so you can go to download Ollama, and based on which system you're on, select the download link for that. So for mine is Windows. I will click that. This will start downloading the Ollama install executable. Mine is 745 megabytes. So once that is done, we will continue. Okay, so it's now finished downloading. We will now open it to start the installation. This should pop up. We click install. It'll start installing Ollama onto your computer, and this should not take long at all, just maybe a few minutes. So I'll come back when that's done. When it finishes installing, it should disappear. There are two ways to verify whether it has properly installed. You can go to the bottom right, which has been covered by my camera, so I'll just move that. We can go to here, we can click that, and there should be the Ollama icon there. And the next way, which is I guess the more proper way, which works across whichever platform you're on, is to go to your terminal, and what we can do is enter in Ollama --version, and if it comes up with a version like this, then that means it's properly installed. If you get an error when typing this in, you might need to close out of your terminal and reopen it. If you still get an error, you might need to restart your computer. And if you're still getting an error, then you might need to try reinstall it again. So we now have Ollama installed, and now it's time to actually write some code which interacts with it. So we'll be using VS Code for this, and we will be writing code in Python, because Python is the language which has the most libraries and frameworks for interacting with large language models and AI. So with VS Code open, we are going to open up our terminal. We're going to also double check to see if Ollama is working properly in here, which we can see it is. So before we actually start working with an AI model, we need to use Ollama to first download the model, and then once the model is downloaded, we then host the model with it. So since everyone is talking about this model at the moment, we'll use the DeepSeek large language model with this. So what we can do first, we can do a Google search for Ollama and DeepSeek, and this will take us to DeepSeek R1, and we can select the first version up there. So one thing that you will see is that there are lots of different versions of this DeepSeek R1 model. As we are running this on our local device without a large amount of GPU processing, we will use the 1.5 billion parameter one, as the requirements to run it are far less than the largest one they have available. We first need to download this. We won't use this command that has listed here. What we'll do first is Ollama pull, and we will pull this model version as we have there. So DeepSeek R1 1.5b. Press enter and we'll start the download for that. This download, as you can see here, says it's going to be 1.1 gigabytes. So once that is done, we will continue. The DeepSeek model has now finished downloading, so we will start with writing Python code to access it. Before every Python project you make, you should first create a virtual environment for it, as it's a good idea to separate dependencies from each of your projects. And to create that virtual environment, we will type python-m venv, and then we will name it venv. And what this will do is it will create a folder in your directory with venv, and it will have all the Python libraries in for this program separate from all your other programs. With that virtual environment created, we now need to activate it, which you do with the command venv scripts and activate. Okay, well, interesting, I can't actually run it because running scripts is disabled. So to enable it, we do set execution policy remote signed. Nope, can't change that either. Okay, maybe it's this command here that I need to do. Maybe this remote signed. Okay, now let's try activate. There we go. Hopefully you don't have to deal with that, but just in case, that's how you fix it. So let's clear that for now. You'll know you're in your virtual environment when you have this here. So this venv is the name of the folder that got created. So let me zoom in so we can clearly see what's going on. There we go. So we are now inside of the Python virtual environment we created for this project. The only package that we need to install is the Ollama one, which you can do with pip install Ollama. So with this pip install Ollama, you will only have access to it when you're inside the virtual environment, which is by using the activate script, which is in this project directory. If you try to access the Ollama library in some other application, which is in a different environment, you won't have Ollama available to that, so you would have to install it in there as well. Okay, so we now have Ollama installed. I just realized I was going to do a previous step, which is actually running the model. So we downloaded it before, but now we need to actually run it and serve it, so there's an API available for it. So to do that, we do Ollama run DeepSeek R1 1.5b. So while it's starting up, we will create another terminal within VS Code, which is what we will use to run our application. We will now create our application. So we'll go here, create new file, and do app.py. And I've just noticed in this new terminal, we don't actually have our virtual environment activated. So we will need to activate that. So venv scripts activate. So we now have it activated. In our application, we will need to import the Ollama package that we installed. And what we will do is we will prompt the user to enter their prompt. So we'll do prompt is equal to input, enter your prompt. So whatever the user enters when they run this program, that's going to be saved into this variable prompt. What we then do is pass this prompt to Ollama, which will be using the API for the DeepSeek model. So let's do response is equal to ollama.chat. So with this, we pass the name of the model, so DeepSeek R1 1.5b. We then need to specify the messages that are along with it. So messages is equal to, and this is a list. So we'll do that. We then pass it a dictionary, which is the first message. We then specify the role of who created this message. So role, and this will equal user. So this has to equal user. I'm not sure what roles are available, but I'm pretty sure it's like user and assistant or something. Those are the two valid ones you can do. So we'll do user, and then content is what holds the actual message that the user is passing to the model. So content, and we will put our prompt into there. So when that code runs, our prompt will be sent to the DeepSeek model, and we will have the response that's been given back. So what we can do, print response, and then we can access the message from the model by going to the key message and then content. So that should be all the code that's needed to send a message to the LLM model, which was downloaded from Ollama, and then get the response back from it. So what we'll do now is we'll run this application. So Python and then app.py, enter your prompt, and let's make our prompt, what is AI engineering? And we have gotten the response back. So AI engineering refers to the application of artificial intelligence technologies in engineering contexts, combines principles from computer science, mathematics, and domain-specific fields to develop systems that can perform tasks, solve problems, or innovate in various industries. So we have downloaded a model, we have hosted it locally, and we've created Python code which is able to interact with it, send a prompt to it, and receive a response back. And best of all, it was entirely free to do. So this is how you can start learning how to AI engineer for free. By using Ollama, you can run large language models locally on your personal device. You can experiment with AI generated text and integrate it into your Python projects. If you found this video useful, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, leave them below in the comments. If you have ideas for what other AI related videos I could create for you, let me know in the comments as well.